I'm not going to get frustrated. I'm not going to get upset. I know that the devil is a liar. And if it cut off again, it cuts off. I'm glad that at least one person, Miss Taz the Great, hello. Thank you for coming back in with me. I don't see anybody else, and it's I got Miss Divalicious hair extensions. Okay, mom, promote that, bro, man, from the fifth floor. What up with you, man? Yo, let me get on a story with this story about Chaz, man. You know, for the devil try to make the devil come out of me. Um, Chaz was like, if you looked at American Gangster, you show how it's they told a story of partly of his life, but it didn't touch on who Chaz the Man was. Chaz the Man was one of the greatest men I've ever known in my life. And it wasn't because he was a gangster, it was because he was a gentleman. When I first met Chaz, it was probably back in, I want to say 91, 90 or 91. 90 or 91. He had been doing parties prior to that. I know some of y'all probably wasn't even born back then. All right, Cass telling me to let people come back in. But Cass, I don't even know how long this is going to last. And then maybe people just have to go back and see it. Because a lot of people are going to get frustrated, man. You understand? They understand, like, I've done everything. I changed my whole internet program. You know what I'm saying? I went to Optimum to Verizon. Now I'm down here in the sub basement, you know, um, trying to get right next to the router. The router ain't no more than a foot from me. And I do want to tell a story about Chaz so bad, man, because he was the big brother that, I ain't gonna say I never had, but because Terrell was like my older brother, God bless the dead. But he was the big brother that I always wanted to be with, be around with, and do parties and go places, travel, everything, man. We had a lot of fun. The first time I met Chaz was from Omar. Omar was seen in the Freddie Myers movie, the documentary about Freddie Myers, one of the top gangsters and drug dealers in Harlem. He said, have you ever seen that documentary? He said it was this little guy from 114th Street. He used to dress up in like a rain suit. And Omar was that guy. Him and Chaz did federal time together. All right. I'm going to stop it right there. Hold on. No, hold on one second. So Omar and Chaz did federal time together. So I was already doing parties. It was after the City College thing, and I wasn't dealing with Puff no more. So Omar, it was after the City College tragedy, and all those kids, about 9 kids died, and I stopped dealing with Puff, because he didn't listen to me that night either. So Omar said, yo, it's this dude that's giving parties out in Queens. But he needs somebody at the door because, he just gave a party for, I think Luke was there, and you know the door got messed up, and I told him that you was the best guy for the job. I said, well, Omar, you know I don't work for everybody, man. You know what I'm saying? Because everybody couldn't, to be honest, they couldn't afford me. And I would tell a guy like that, I don't know if you can afford me, man. Because I wasn't selling myself cheap out there. Because being in the front door was a difficult time in New York City back in the 90s. You had to have your door locked down, and you had to have some dudes that were serious. So I had a serious team. I had Powerful. Everybody know Powerful Black. He had like about back in the 90s, he had more than 300-400, you know, bloods, you know, representing him, you know, under him. Then I had Slick. Slick ran Slick in the Family. That's my brother. Then I had Teamer. Everybody know Big Team from 14th Street. I had Noah, Bun, Big Boy. Then I grabbed like 4 COs, and I grabbed the sergeant from the 2-8 precinct. You know, my sergeant from the 2-8 precinct, he was the one that talked to the cops when they come on the scene. You understand? To let them know that we got everything in under control. Then my correction officers who worked at Rikers Islands, they always knew the bad guys. So they'll see them and they'll know them when they come online, guys who was troublemakers. Then I had my street dudes who worked with me, who if I got a problem, they was going to handle it. You understand? So, but everybody, and I paid them well. I was getting in the 90s, I was asking for anywhere from $150 to $200 a man for each one of my guys. So when I did somebody's door, you know, I was guaranteed to give them their $150. And then what I did was I would say, I need 10 comps when I work for somebody's door. Those comps was for those guys who want to walk in, they don't really want to pay, but they're going to hit me at the door. And they're going to hit me way more they was going to pay the door anyway. But they don't walk in line. They still get searched and everything because I searched them personally. And if they had a gun on them, they would get a gun to me. And I would hold that for them until they come on the outside. Tell you the God honest truth. So Omar said, yo, this dude Chaz, I told this dude Chaz about you. He want to holler at you about his door. But I told Omar, I said, man, I don't work for everybody. And then Chaz was in Queens and he was giving parties at a club called Amazura. They could try all they want to, Nichelle Green. They could try to sabotage me, man, but you can't hold back the truth, man. You know what I'm saying? If I got to send up smoke signals about my man today, I'm going to send up smoke signals. You understand? You know, whatever I got to do, write this shit in Braille. Melvin Gentry, much love to y'all out there in Charlotte, brother. All right? So now, like I say, Omar was a gangster that was working for New York Freddie. You understand? He was the one that was in the documentary. He spoke in the documentary, and Freddie said that was one of his best workers from 14th Street. He did time with Chaz. So Chaz met me on 116th Street. 116th Street, they used to have this Muslim restaurant. You know, no pork on my fork or some stuff like that. But it was a Muslim restaurant that all the people who went to the Muslim mosque next door to them, they used to go there to eat. They had a great breakfast. You understand? So Chaz asked me to meet him up there. So Chaz wanted to put me under contract. He wanted to work for me. He said, yo, I got like 10 parties, you know, coming up, because he had already booked the spots, booked the places and everything. And he said, I got 10 parties. And I was like, all right. So he said, so how much you want? I said, if you want me to personally do it for you and everything, be your personal security everywhere you go and things like that, you know, I need 10,000. He looked at me. He said, "Yo, you need 10,000." I said, "Yeah, I don't want nothing. I want 10,000 and 10 comps at each party. So I'm gonna get $10,000 up front to work for you, and I want 10 comps. How much for the security?" I said, "The security is going to be anywhere from, it depends on how many guys you need, but it's going to be like $125, $150 per man." So what I did was, and I used to tell us, like when I make money on the door, because back then you could make anywhere from 3,000 to about 8,000 a night, doing the parties at the door, letting guys skip. These guys, they didn't want to stand in line. They would give you 500, 300, 200. I used to come out there and then I'll bust down. I'll take like I put 1,500 in my pocket and I bust down. If I make 3,000, I take 1,500 in my pocket and I bust down other $1,500 with the guys plus the money they was getting. So my guys was honorable and they was loving it. And then the dudes that were close to me, like Slick them, I'll probably get them another 200 or something like that on top of what they was getting, everybody else was getting. So I came in the fold and I started working for Chaz. I told Chaz I gotta have 2 dogs out front and barricades. That's all I need. You're gonna get all your people in. I don't care how many people up there. You ain't gonna never have a problem at the door. Chaz gave this big party out of Amazura. I think it was either Snoop or Luke was the first party. It ran like clockwork. Everybody that was on the outside made it on the inside. And the people knew how big Amazura was. It was packed, wall to wall. I got all these people in. He just looked at me. He said, "You serious?" I said, "Yeah, I'm going to do whatever I tell you. Whatever I say I could do, I know I can do it." You understand? Because I knew that game. I was the best man at the door. So Chaz started getting respect for me based on the fact whenever he asked me to do something, if I could do it, it got done. And then the situation happens when, me being a PO and a lot of his friends was either on parole or they had parole officers. And I was a gentleman about giving them knowledge on what they deserve and what they were supposed to do and how they were supposed to do it on parole. Chaz was a good dude. He gave a party for Salt and Pepper one time, and he had every gangster from Brooklyn, Queens, Manhattan, all up in that joint. And there was this one incident that this one brother, he ran a crew out there in Brooklyn. His name was Scooter. He had Johnny, Scooter, this other dude, it was Johnny, Scooter, this other dude, y'all see him all the time. He be talking about he would used to be with Pac. I'm not remembering this dude's name. Begins with a T. Damn, I just caught a blank. Well, anyway, it'll come to me. It was Johnny, Scooter, and well, anyway, it was Scooter's crew. It was Scooter's crew, man. And they all came to the party and everything like that. And it was an incident in the party. Now, Scooter was one of the, coming out of Brooklyn, anybody knows Scooter. Scooter was dangerous. And he used to run a real serious crew. I think the dude's name was, well, y'all know him because he got deported and he had incidents and situation with Pac, I guess. Let me see if anybody knows who I'm talking about. I expect somebody to know who I'm talking about. Haitian Jack. Yeah, it was Haitian Jack, and the other dude. No, it wasn't Tretch, man. It was Haitian Jack, and the other dude. Dexter Isaac was talking about like he was taking, like this dude was taking a lot of props from doing stuff. It wasn't Jimmy Henchman. Jimmy Henchman was a boss back then. It was Tut. Oh, who's that? Cornell Brown. Thank you, brother. Thank you. It was Tut. It was Tut, Haitian Jack, Scooter, Johnny, and Lil Man. Yeah, it was Tut. Thank you, Muhammad, Gabriel. Y'all good, man. Queen Me. Thank you, Ma. Yeah, man. I'm sorry. I forgot dude's name. So they beating the shit out this guy in the party. And Scooter took a bottle and said, crack the dude on the head. When he cracked the dude, I grabbed Scooter and brought him outside, took him outside. And now, I don't know, through the commotion, I guess they was chasing, seeing where they didn't know where Scooter was at, but I had Scooter and I took Scooter outside. So me and Scooter sitting outside, but Powerful, Slick, and Team is outside. They gloved up real good. You understand? They gloved up real good. So they just sitting right there. And I said, guys, so the next thing you know, Tut, Haitian Jack, Johnny, all of them run outside. Then Chaz come outside. And so then they was like, yo, big man, we gonna fuck you. You know, they going through all this crazy stuff like that. And Chaz said, yo, Gene, go inside. And I was like, yo, Chaz, I ain't going nowhere. He said, yo, Gene, I ain't gonna tell you again, go inside. I said, yo, Chaz, they gotta know who I am. You understand? Because when you ain't around, bro, they gotta, he said, I got this. I said, no, let me say what I gotta say first. You know what I'm saying? So Chaz was like, yo, go ahead and speak to him. I said, yo, Scooter, if this was your party and Chaz bust somebody in the head with a bottle, I would have did the same thing to him if I was working for you. He said, you ain't disrespect me, big man. I was out of order. I shouldn't have did this at Slim Party. I should have waited till I seen dude another time. And shook his hand at me. And then Chaz looked at me. I shook his hand and I went back in the party. Now, Richard Steffens, what's up, man? Thanks, bro. You too, Cleve Joe. So now, Chaz looked at me after the party. He was like, yo, my man, you a serious dude. I was like, Chaz, man, listen to me, man. If I work for you and I decide to take your money and be with you, bruh, I got to be ready to lay down my life for you. I don't care who it is. And from that point on, every day after work, I used to be with Chaz. We used to drive all over and everything like that. We used to go places, you know, just everything. Then he told me he wanted to get into the music business. So at that time, you know, I knew a lot of people in the music because I didn't work from Heavy D. I didn't work for Tim Dog. Tim Dog had the Lost Boys. I did butt naked parties. I used to do the comedy show at the Cotton Club. It's a lot of stuff that I was doing, but every club in the city I could go through because I used to do the top parties. So every bouncer knew me, from the Palladium to the what we call it? The Palladium, the Mirage, the Tunnel. All the bouncers, we all knew each other, and they knew I was one of the top guys too. Beast was a good bouncer, Fame them, everybody, Sterling, all them guys, we all knew each other. So they used to give me carte blanche when I used to come through with Chaz. So Chaz decided he wanted to, you know, not that Tim Dog, I'm talking about Tim Dog, another Tim Dog. But rest in peace, like you said, Ronnie Shorter, to other Tim Dog. So I'm talking about the Tim Dog. He down in Florida playing golf, man. Hope ain't nobody looking for him. So now, I dealt with a lot of people. So, you know, Chaz said he wanted to get in the music business. You know what I'm saying? But we was still giving parties and everything all over the country. You understand? We was giving parties. We gave parties with Shaq and them out in Vegas. We was giving parties just everywhere. He was always a gentleman. You understand? He didn't let nobody in his camp get in trouble. We say, hold on, who just said, somebody said about that? Yeah, he ran with the BLA. He was Tupac. Y'all don't know this. Tupac's uh, father is Chaz's first cousin. Tupac's father is Chaz's first cousin, so that makes Chaz Tupac family. Thank you for saying that, Visionary TV, about Chaz. I appreciate that, bro. All right. Chaz did a lot of things, man, and don't nobody know this. And I'm going to give you how big Chaz was. I'm going to tell you this story. And don't nobody, like I said, know this. Hot 97 was giving a big party. And they had all these artists there. And I think Murder Inc. had brought one of these artists out with them. And he calls himself the King of the South. Nobody knows this. He was trying to tuck his chain, but he got. Yeah, the King of the South. Robert Brown, thank you for shooting out that much love to Chaz, man. Appreciate that. I get a phone call. And he said, Chaz says to me, yo, you might need to go down to the Mirage because it's a situation. And I was like, yo, all right, what's good? What's good? He said, the King of the South. Yeah, Gerard Henley. You got it. T.I. got robbed. So when he came popping that stuff about Safari and talking about the world was mean, it happened to him. It happens to all of us. It happens to a lot of people. Now, it wasn't Lil Flip. Whatever happened to Lil Flip, y'all? But it was the King of the South. Don't you know Chaz made a couple of phone calls and they had to give them guys some money, but T.I. got his stuff back. Just a few hours. That's how powerful he was. That's how respected he was. He respected the game to the point where it's that, yo, them guys did a good robbery. Somebody got to get him something for that. And T.I. got his jewels back. Oh, they say T.I. Murray said, Vakisha Murray said T.I. Lil Flip owns a lot of business in Houston. Shout out to Lil Flip. That's what kind of man Chaz was. I said this before. Had I known that Chaz was on the other side of the corner the night Big got killed, because he was on his way to the thing. And I got to tell you this funny story. You're going to die with this story right here about Chaz. And I think I mentioned it before. But had I known Chaz was on the other corner, because I called them, because yo, we only had, listen, we got a beef. Puff only had me and Kenny. Kenny was the driver. I was seeing Puff. Big only had 2 men. But Chaz had like 6 or 7 dudes with him. You understand? They was on their way to the Peterson Museum. Had I known he was outside on the other end of the corner, I would have never got in that car. I would have never got in that car. I'd have walked to the corner where he was at, and that's the corner Big got killed on. I would have never got in that car. But anyway, that's the kind of man Chaz was, man. Chaz was like anybody that was a good dude, and he felt like, you know, he could help them, he would. And he didn't care what you did for a living. Long as you was honorable, stand up, he would be right there for you. Yo, let me tell you this story. Let me tell you the story. We was in the House of Blues. And this was the day we saw Tupac and Suge. I tried to tell old boy, he tried to say it never happened. And I've been asking people to try to find the writer of the article that Puff was in. I think it was Billboard, or what's that other magazine? Rolling Stones. I've had a long day, man. I've been, you know, we talked about Chaz early this morning. They went out to the grave site, and it's been a long day for me, man. It's his birthday today. God bless him. And yo, I miss him crazy, dog. I miss this dude. Yo, anytime I had a problem, a situation with work or anything, you know, I could trust his judgment. I could trust him as a man, you know, and I would be going to his house this weekend with food, because we would be having his birthday party at his house. So I would be going to his house. He loved my fried cabbage. He wanted that fried cabbage because he didn't eat no pork. He wanted fried cabbage and turkey meat, mac and cheese, cornbread, and I would make a pasta dish with just turkey meat, like ground turkey, the turkey sausage and everything like that. Put that together and put it in a pasta dish. And I used to have all that stuff. I had to take all that stuff to his house. He had mad food, you know. He had everything there, you know. But he wanted me to do those special things, man. I used to do that shit. We be taking it to his house, you know, this weekend or whatever, man, for his party. Yeah, I used to say, you ain't inviting Diddy, you know, y'all birthday right behind each other. But let me tell you the story about him and Diddy. Thanks, James, man. I ain't no living legend, man. I'm just here to tell a story, man. My own stories about things I've done. So now, what's up, Toledo Finest? We in the House of Blues. Earlier that day, it was me, Puff, Riz, and Kenny was driving, and it was a reporter from either Rolling Stones or I just said the damn shit. Rolling Stones or whatever that magazine. It'll come to me, shit. Like I told you, man, it's been a long day, man. Let me look at here. They still talk about Billboard. Thanks, Visionary TV, man. You've been saving my ass, man. I appreciate you. Thank you, man. Who was that? Lucretia, Lucinda, Clover. Thank you too. All right, so check it out, man. Um, we see Pac and Suge earlier. Suge had a red drop top Rolls Royce. Pac had a drop top Rolls Royce, white. It was behind each other. It's by the House of Blues. You understand? And that's when Pac looked at Puff, because Puff said, "Yo, what up, Pac?" Pac just turned his head on. Didn't say nothing. He just turned his head on and got back on his cell phone. Suge was on the cell phone too. So we rolled up to Suge, and that's when Riz told Puff, "You better talk to this nigga." And Puff asked Suge, "What up, Suge?" He said, "What up?" And Suge said, "We got any problems out here?" Suge said, "I don't know any problems y'all got." He said, "We good?" "I guess you good." He said, all right. So he just left. So then Riz was in the back seat with that 40 cal. You understand? And the reporter was right there. And I'm looking at the reporter. He looked like he was about to, defecate on himself. And Puff threatened him, said, "Yo, man, I've been not hearing nothing about this." So I've been looking for that reporter. And if you, in the magazine, he wrote it. It's the one where Puff was in a white, he's in a flotation device in the pool, and he got a white suit on. It's that article right there. Whoever wrote that article was the man who was with us in that car at the time we ran into Pac now. So anyway, later on that night, we went to the House of Blues. And Big Nim didn't show up. Big Nim wasn't nowhere around. So I called Chaz and them because it was just me and Puff. I'm in the House of Blues in there, and then Keefy D and all the Crips was in there too. So they came up in there, and Chaz came. He had a few people with him. So Puff did like this. "Yeah, what up, Chaz? What up, Chaz?" Boom. Caught Chaz in the chest. Real quick, Chaz caught him with I think it was a left to the sternum, to his rib, and knocked the wind out of him. He was like, I was like, oh, snap. I was dying. I mean, like, you could see this nigga just about to fold. Then he started catching his breath like, I was like, oh, this is not. Niggas were trying to flex up on Chaz, and Chaz was like, I said, man, y'all back up off him. You understand? I was about to go and Puff, but Chaz was my man. Chaz is my brother. And Puff swung first, hit him first. Chaz called him in the thing. Yo, I was dying. You understand? But we all stood up there. They started drinking. They started having fun a little bit like that. And I think LL had performed. LL had did a hell of a job and shit like they had performed that night. Toledo's finest. Yeah. All right. So all right, well, soul music, he hit it around wrong, man. If that helps you. All right. All right. So that was a funny thing that went down with Chaz and Puff that night. Like I said, Chaz was a good brother, and his death was crazy, man. When they say all the good ones go soon, he was one of the good ones that went soon. We didn't know, like, he was flying back and forth from Cali because they doing this movie on him. So he was flying like every week. Just the same thing that happened to Heavy D. he was flying and caught that blood clot in his leg, man. They had him on the runway for like 3 hours waiting to go to Atlanta. And when he got to Atlanta, they had him on the runway like 2.5, 3 hours. He went home, had a blood clot in his leg, never recovered from that, man. Was a good dude, man. Yo, and he knew when he knew he was going to die, he told listen here, man, make sure y'all just put my jogging suit on, man, and put my shank in my pocket. He said, yo, just put my jogging suit on and put my shank in my pocket. No, Orlando Anderson, James Bond wasn't around that night. Keefy D came up, other guys, I think it was 1 or 2 other guys with him, but it wasn't Orlando. Yeah. I'm asking some of these questions. Day West, what's up with you out there in St. Louis? Stand up for my St. Louis people. And you know my heart is out there in Wellston. You understand? All my west side and north side dudes. Toledo's finest, man. Like, listen here, Poe is Poe. They got gangsters like Sammy the Bull, killed 57 people. They got gangsters like Alex, what's his name? John Gotti, them hitman. He killed 50 something, 60, 70 some people or whatever. Responsible for a lot of people's deaths. What's the difference from Alpo making a trailer or a movie about his life and what he's done? That's his life. I'm here about Chaz, man. I hope when that movie come out, it does him justice. Toya Thornton, what's up out there in Cali? Hope everything's good, mama. Yo, Puff been in a couple of fights. Yo, listen here, man. I'm gonna tell you something. If you Puff size, he gonna give you a run for your money. You understand? I seen him like he'll dust off some dudes, and you know that everybody thought would have him. He should have him. He'll slam him or whatever like that, and then he'll start laughing and playing and everything like that. But he wasn't no slouch, dog. Like, you ain't gonna be his size, you know what I'm saying, and think he ain't gonna fight you back. Nah. Chaz was short-lived, Greg Walters, in the music business. You know, he had that dude Graf that I hooked him up with K Slay. And he managed Foxy Brown. And he used to do some stuff when 50 Cent was having problems out in the street. You know, he used to collect 50 money for him when he was going to do shows and shit like that. You know, it was a gentleman's agreement with 50 and his management team. What else? Oh, who was the guy from that was Big's man? He drive the white. I don't know who he was personally, man, but he was the one who was turning into our convoy, and Paul got out the car and stopped him from getting behind Big, and then the dude started shooting on the other side of Big instead of Paul, you know, running to the dude shooting on the side of Big, because after that first shot, he shouldn't have got no 5 or 6 shots at Big. No, You understand? After that first shot, Paul was right outside the car. He could have hit him right in the back of the car. Bow, bow, bow. He could have caught him, but he went on. He ran out of the way. You know what I'm saying? You want to call out Uncle Paulie? Boss Black, thanks for asking. My finances been going. My finances and my situation in my household been straight way before I got on this internet or anything, dog. I'm listening here. I had my house since '99. You understand? I've been taking care of business for a long time. I'm the state gives you plans. You understand? So my finance, my situation is all right. I don't give a shit if a lot of it. God ain't finished me yet, bro. You understand? I ain't worrying about it. I ain't thinking about checking out. Where my moderators at? I'm not gonna get into Chaz and 50 thing. I'm saving that for a book. It's a big situation, but it ain't what people think it is. You understand what I'm saying? People think that Chaz turned on him for what they heard on the song, but it was nothing like that. Chaz had a lot of love for dude and had a lot of respect for dude. But when I tell you the story behind that, then you're gonna look at some other dudes in a certain way. Yeah, so Music Lucy song, and he said it was the same person that he said when he said a Muslim guy, and I said what the dude had on, they asked me, yeah, how did I know? And I said he walked up the Puff car first. Yeah, I seen $1 million check, Jeremy Sergeant, but I'm gonna get that up a little later. Yo, that thing about this, when they said about the shoes, they told it the way they wanted to tell it, man. Chaz used to laugh at me about that. They told it the way they wanted to tell it. You understand? They called me Big Sexy because what people didn't know, and I said this before, I used to write for Felon magazine, and that was my pen name. See, that's the ink pen right there, and that was that. So when you seen Felon magazine and you saw Big Sexy, that was me who was writing those articles. Oh, Riz was a Riz was one of those silent, quiet, in the back type of dudes. Whereas that he liked to joke and have fun, but dangerous. You know, dangerous. Didn't play. You know what I'm saying? When Puff had an issue, you didn't really have to. You would hear Wolf coming, but you wouldn't hear Riz. You wouldn't see Riz coming. God bless the dead. Riz would dress up like a Muslim lady with a baby carriage. Because he's one of those slim type of dudes, he could get away with it and get real close. You know, those Muslim ladies with the black thing on, all that right there, got the thing in the baby carriage and roll up on you. I went to Queen's Flip show. One of those dudes is Chaz family, not the Queen's Flip dude, the G Money. That's Chaz family, and Chaz asked me to go up there a long time ago, and I already did that. No, Alamo, you got to be crazy. I don't want the cooties. I like Jinx too, LaDawn. Yeah, Riz got killed with Wolf, man. You know, some of the dudes who was out there, they was, you know, G and all, they saw Wolf and Riz get killed. But, you know, that was a terrible situation. Well, Riz was the type of dude, man, like doing that whole run, he was in jail a lot. But when he came out, which went back real quick, he just, you know, it's not that many stories about Riz, man. He was one of them quiet, dangerous guys, man. But love to joke and have fun too. Cause Star Money, Puff's sister was always in the background, quiet, educated young girl, and he used to treat her like shit. She used to work for Bad Boy. I don't know what she do now. Back in the day when Kirk Burrows was there. Have y'all went out there and went into Kirk Burrows stuff? I mean, y'all subscribe to his channel and everything like that? Cause he's gonna do three. He's gonna do three. Like tell three stories and gonna release them one every week or something like that. He ain't gonna go live. He's just gonna tell the stories. Flies 24, man. I wish I had her. And walked down to the block and waited for my ride. I know y'all was in there. Y'all on my channel, but y'all was all wishing him a happy birthday yesterday. Let me see some of y'all names on this thing. Hey, Puff, happy birthday. Fuck Gene. What I think about Kirk Burrows was a solid dude as far as, you know, with the business and getting your check and all that stuff and all. He ran the business of Bad Boy. Not the music, but the business of Bad Boy. Puff promised that man 25%. Everybody know he was the president at the time. Everybody know how close they was because they were sleeping together. I mean, they was praying together. Allegedly. Praying together. That was a Freudian slip. A Freudian slip. Yeah, you're right, Curtis. Called out more about Chaz, man. Um, Chaz had this dude named Graf, and Chaz had another dude that was better than Graf, and his name was Shalom. Now you take Drake and Akon and put them together, they couldn't mess with Shalom. Swear for God. Oh, yo, let me tell you something. If they let you hear some of the tapes of the music that Shalom was doing back then, y'all was like, how the hell he didn't make it? How the hell he didn't get a chance? Shalom was off the hook. I mean, like, yo, the music he had, it was crazy. So Chaz said to me, yo, man, we was driving, we had came from Queens. He had this white Infinity that Q something before when it just came out. That big Infinity Q54, I think it was at the time, or 64, the big joint. He had that joint. So we was driving, we had just came from downtown. And he was like, yo, man, I can't get my hands on this dude. And I was like, yo, who you talking about, man? He said, yo, this dude K Slay. So K Slay is family. So I'm like, so what you mean you can't get your hands on this dude? He said, man, we trying to get him to play graph music and we can't catch him at the radio station. We can't catch him nowhere and nobody know how to get to this dude. I was like, yo, Chaz, that's family. He was like, who family? And I say, that's my family. You know, I deals with K like that. He was like, yo, don't tell me that, man. Your Honor Shakur. What's up with you, boy? So he said, you deal with him like, he said, man, you ride with me like that and you deal with this dude and I've been looking for this guy. I said, you never said nothing. So I calls K up. I said, we go to the house right now. K had a studio on 118th Street and First Avenue. So we go to the studio. I'm thinking that he was going to give him Shalom music because we in the car bumping Shalom music. And I'm like, yo, he about to be he was doing the singing and rapping before Akon and Drake. And this shit was crazy. So he gave K this dude Graph stuff. Now, if you go and Graph, he did a first song called Bang Out. I'm in that joint right there. I'm the dude coming out the bathroom with the chick. And he did that song Bang Out. That was his first song. And I was like, Chaz, we got to go. We should go with Shalom, man. And Chaz was like, they don't want to hear that. They want this gangster stuff. And, Irv Gotti and them was telling me that's the best thing to put out right now because that's what the people want to hear. I said, we got to be the first ones then, dog. I'm telling you, we could go with the Shalom guy, man. Maybe change his name or whatever like that. But his stuff is hot. Chaz went with Graph. We took him up. Chaz and Preem was cool, man. They was good. They was like brothers. You know what I'm saying? So, hold on. All right, thanks, Giovanni Shakur. But I'm sorry, man, about the buffering there. I can't do anything about that. I'm right next to the computer. Anyway, so Chaz